Hello guys, my name is Siddharth Varde and this is Mat1 Answer4. So first question is, what is polymorphism? So uh, polymorphism means many forms. Okay, so in here, like, we are talking about something that has many forms. For example, a methods. Okay, so a method with the same name, but it will differ in functionalities. So that is like something that has many forms, like something with the same name but many forms. So there are two types of polymorphism. One is overloading. So this is the type of overloading where there are one class has a method with the same name, but they differ in signature. So the parameters are different. One takes no parameter and another one takes a one parameter. And then the second is overriding. So this is uh, attack function, but its child class, a fire player, that has also an attack function. So this is overriding. So if I call the fire player dot attack, it would perform this functionality. So that is polymorphism, like many forms, kind of one object, but one object or one method with but has many forms. So what is compile time and runtime? What is compile time polymorphism and what is runtime polymorphism? So compile time polymorphism is uh, nothing but method overloading. So it is a compile time polymorphism. It is because compiler can decide while compiling that which function it is going to call according to the list of parameters. Okay, and then there is second one that is called runtime polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism is when the compiler decides on runtime that which function exactly it should call. So that is because that happens while inheriting, and like it overloading would be an example of runtime polymorphism. Sorry, overriding the function is would be the example of runtime polymorphism. So here uh, this is compile time polymorphism, and this would be runtime polymorphism. But uh, the actual example is here. You see, in special attack method, because it is marked as a virtual. So I specifically the compiler would decide which special attack to call according to the object that is actually holding. So when I call here, it would call from player 1 and the player class, and when I call it from here, so it would call from fire player class, because uh, currently P holds the reference of fire player. So this is the example of runtime polymorphism. And that is the same thing as static and dynamic binding. So static binding is when compiler can decide on while compile time that which function it can call. So that happens inside this for the first attack function. So according to the uh, object. So let here what happens when I store the p1 inside p, pointer p. So but the pointer p is of type player. So compiler can decide on runtime compile time that it would call the method of a player class. So if I say p2 dot attack, then it would call this method. So it can decide on compile time. So that is a static binding. And this is the example of virtual binding, where a compiler would have to decide which function to call on runtime. So for example, as I said here, it is the same example as that before that, but it differs, like, because we have defined this function as virtual. So we are binding the compiler, like we are telling the compiler that you must decide on runtime that which object the pointer holds and which function you can call. So while compile time, like the compiler would see, okay, I hold the p2 object and that is of type fire player, so I need to call the fire player special attack function. So okay, this is it.